At $13 billion, the USS Gerald R. Ford is the most expensive warship ever built. It is a floating city powered by 2 internal nuclear reactors, giving this massive steel structure a virtually unlimited range across the globe. The hardware payload is dense. It carries up to 75 fighter jets, and the crew can launch 270 individual sorties in a single day, striking targets 1,000 miles away. The physical machinery of the Ford can operate relentlessly. The nuclear reactors never sleep. But the 5,000 human sailors required to turn the dials, load the weapons, and fly the jets absolutely do. This creates a biological bottleneck. Before the Navy can project military power, they must execute a non-stop logistical operation just to fulfill the basic caloric and hygiene needs of 5,000 people stranded in the middle of the ocean. Keeping the Ford operational requires more than engineering better weapons. It requires a highly regimented life support system designed to keep 5,000 fragile organisms functioning inside a hostile steel machine. You cannot run a city without fuel, and the crew's fuel demands are massive. To keep the sailors functioning, the ship's culinary team prepares up to 17,300 meals every single day. The kitchens operate 24/7 to accommodate sailors on rotating night shifts. The environment inside these galleys is brutal. A team of roughly 100 culinary specialists works 12 to 16-hour shifts. They process millions of pounds of food during a deployment, often standing over industrial flat tops in temperatures exceeding 135 degrees. This data comparison shows the strict nutritional math used to sustain the crew. You can see the standard male allocation of 2,850 calories next to the female allocation of 2,100 calories. Meeting these daily targets runs up to $65,000 a day. That is over $1 million every month, entirely on groceries. Unlike a commercial restaurant, the Ford cannot call a vendor when the supplies run low. They consume these millions of dollars in groceries while operating hundreds of miles away from any land-based supply chain. To restock, they perform coordinated mid-ocean supply drops. Every single week, massive cargo supply ships pull right alongside the carrier. Both vessels match speed in open water, and crews transfer up to 700,000 pounds of food over cable suspended above the waves. A single snapped cable or a missed rendezvous creates immediate operational friction. Feeding this crew is an industrial supply chain, where the ship's mission endurance is directly tied to the reliability of the next pallet transfer. Once the sailors are fed, they have to be stored. The geometry of human downtime on the carrier is incredibly compressed. Dozens of sailors are packed into communal berthing areas, sleeping in metal racks stacked 3 high. Looking at these racks, the lack of personal space is stark. A standard rack measures 77 inches long and 27 inches wide. From the foam mattress to the metal bottom of the bunk directly above, sailors have only 20 inches of vertical clearance. They call them coffin lockers. These berthing compartments are buried deep inside the ship, far below the flight deck. Sailors can go weeks without seeing natural sunlight, waking up, working, and resting entirely under artificial lighting. Even when they lay down, rest is scarce. Rotating shift work constantly disrupts the body's sleep cycles. And because flight operations run around the clock, sailors are trying to sleep while fighter jets slam into the deck above them, producing a continuous roar throughout the steel hull. Surviving this environment takes heavy mental conditioning. In a confined, light-deprived, and loud space, sleep stops being a convenience and becomes a difficult tactical requirement. Packing 5,000 humans into a steel box creates a critical vulnerability: disease. A single outbreak of the flu or a stomach virus in these tight quarters could sideline enough sailors to compromise a mission. Strict hygiene is mandatory for readiness. This volume visualization contrasts water conservation at sea with normal life on land. A civilian shower uses roughly 60 gallons of water. A proper Navy shower, turning the water on to get wet, off to soap up, and on briefly to rinse, uses exactly 3 gallons. This efficiency saves thousands of gallons of desalinated water every day. Keeping the crew clean also means running a massive industrial laundry. Deep below the waterline, sailors process 150,000 pounds of laundry every week, loading heavy-duty washers in sweltering conditions, hitting 135 degrees. The most delicate part of the hygiene system is the plumbing. In an enlisted berthing area, up to 100 people share 3 or 4 toilets. The Ford uses a vacuum-powered septic system, which relies on a network of highly sensitive, undersized pipes. When unauthorized debris like t-shirts or mop heads are flushed, the pipes clog, taking out multiple bathrooms at once. To fix these blockages, the Navy must perform a chemical acid flush. Every time that happens, it costs $400,000. Managing biological waste and hygiene at this scale is an unavoidable friction point. Between the 6-figure repair bills and the risk of communal illness, it is a persistent tax on the carrier's daily operations. The Navy works aggressively to counteract the psychological toll of this environment. Newer carriers provide Wi-Fi lounges, and once a month, sailors with birthdays are treated to gourmet meals like lobster at tables with white tablecloths. These comforts are strategic necessities designed to prevent the human system from breaking down. If the crew stops functioning, the $13 billion worth of hardware floating under their feet cannot fulfill its purpose. Every meal cooked, every rack occupied, and every drop of water conserved serves a distinct geopolitical goal. These men and women live in extreme regimentation so they can project American military power and deter adversaries across critical global waterways. An aircraft carrier is an impressive machine, but its strength is found in the logistical mastery required to keep 5,000 human beings alive, alert, and functioning in the middle of the ocean.